Welcome back to the Transform Your Mind to Transform Your Life, the podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach Myrna Young, and sitting in the guest chair today is Dr. Ron Dushkin, author of Manage Your Stress, Manage Your Life. And Ron and I are going to be talking today on the topic Master Your Stress before it masters you. So, welcome, Dr. Ron.
Thank you, Myrna. Pleasure to be with you.
You're very welcome. Yes, pleasure to have this conversation. Amazing. All right. So today we're going to focus on stress. Stress is not just something
No,
you
no, no. We're going to focus on stress management.
stress.
Everybody manages. Everybody can talk about stress.
All right. Well, thank you for that. All right. So let me repeat. We're going to talk about stress management. All right. Yes. Because, stress controls most people. And we're also going to talk about SMB, which is the stress management breath. And we're also going to talk about how to say no without guilt. And the last thing we're going to talk about is hidden stress triggers, like how you listen and eat. So amazing. All right. So my guest today is Dr. Ron Dushkin. And we are going to be talking about how to manage stress and how he has spent decades helping people reclaim their lives from it. And we want to leave you with some tools to help you master stress. All right. So, Dr. Ron, as we get started, thank you for sending me a copy of your book. I've been reading it, and
Okay,
it
it's
is
not showing up
amazing.
clearly. It's not showing up clearly on the light. Okay, okay, okay. The title's not obvious. Oh, the title. There we go.
Yes.
Manage your stress. That's better. Manage your stress. Manage your life.
All right. Great, great, great. Awesome. All right. So, thank you for sending me a copy of your book. The first thing that I took away from it is the stress management breath. Can you share why you started into the stretch management field? What is your origin story?
So, I was a second year medical student, part of the high achieving, overstressed, um, not knowing how to manage time and just pushing through everything. And I had a friend that I had met a year before named Carolyn who had become a yoga teacher. And she invited me to come to a yoga class. And I thought that's totally absurd. I'm in the hospital. I'm in the library. I'm trying to get some sleep. I don't have time for yoga. However, she was convincing and I went. And in that yoga class, I noticed for the first time how much stress I was actually carrying around in my body, in my mind. It was a great revelation to me. And I realized afterwards, most people don't even realize how much stress they're carrying. Um, and that set me on a path of learning how to use breathing, how to more attention to my body, and create a whole holistic mind, body, and body mind approach to managing stress. And what I've seen is that so many of us, stress impacts our emotions, it affects our mood, it affects our energy, it affects our relationships, it affects our creativity, it affects all of that stuff. And we don't most of the time we don't address it that well. So what I've been able to do is manage my own personal life better and help thousands of people over the years manage their lives better.
Awesome. So, how did you recognize from a yoga
Class.
class, right? I was trying to figure out what's a great way to say that. A yoga class that you were carrying stress. Now I know that yoga teaches you how to connect with your mind, body, and I'm assuming relaxation. But
Right.
how did you recognize that you were carrying stress?
Because as I felt the relaxation and the gentle movement of my body, I noticed where the tension was. I
Mm,
noticed where the unnecessary stiffness was. I noticed that my mind didn't want to slow down, even though the yoga and relaxation were leading me there. And I thought, wow, that
okay.
I'm not really in control of my life. And then as I went back after the class, and I took a series of classes, of course, and began to practice, but then I noticed that people around me were in the same boat that I had been. They weren't aware of how they were being irritable. They weren't aware of how they were being impatient. They didn't realize how they weren't listening. They didn't realize how they were taking care of their body. And I thought, wow, this is really an epidemic of stress.
Well, it's true. It's true. That's amazing. Well, that's good because yeah, I mean, I've done a couple of yoga, not really in the studio because I was I follow Sadhguru, and Sadhguru was talking how, yoga is not just about stretching. Yoga is about the mind body connection and all these different
Right.
things. So I started doing it for a little bit, and then of course I never did anything with it. But yeah, it's great that you would recognize that, for instance, my sister, and a lot of people, but she's just the one that comes to mind. When you tell them about meditation, they tell you that they can't meditate. Their mind doesn't slow down. And you just told me a minute ago that was one of your signals that you're carrying stress because you're in this yoga class and your mind is probably calculating whatever it is that you're doing in medical school.
Exactly. How, but that's why it's called the practice of yoga, or the practice of meditation, or the practice of relaxation, the practice of jogging. It's all about practice. And if you just step into it, it's like saying, I want to learn how to swim. I'm going to jump in the pool, try it one time. No, I really can't swim. Well, what was your expectation?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I think that's a bunch of crap because I mean, like I told you, that I do guided meditations. I mean, you can go and sit. I mean, I tried everything. There's one time, I used to sit on my meditation cushion for like 20 minutes because I was following somebody that said that's the way to do it. But 90% of the time, I do a guided meditation, and everybody can do that. You just listen,
But
right? And follow the instructions.
there's a misconception about meditation. People think it means the mind goes blank.
Right.
The mind doesn't go blank. I'm a doctor, so I know how the body works. I've seen the body from inside out in surgery. The heart beats. That's what the heart does. The lungs breathe. That's what the lungs do. The mind thinks.
Thanks.
That's
I
what the
like that.
mind does. So we don't want to have our mind not
Like, yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
We want to be able to have a little more control so we can direct what it's thinking about and at what speed. It's almost like if you're in if you turn a radio, you can turn onto a station for classical music. You can turn on a station for jazz and such. But the radio, we have a dial, we can change it. We can learn to change where our mind is focused. And then we're using our mind rather than being used by our
By the
mind.
mind. Right. Yes. And that's why I like guided meditation because you're right. It focuses, tells you what to focus on. And, after you've done it for a while, then you can do it on your own. But I mean, that's the way that you start out. So that's amazing. All right. So you recognize that your body was carrying stress in a yoga class. How can someone become aware of their stress in real time?
Okay. So that's a great question. There's two aspects to stress. One is the immediate reaction, which I call first reactions in the book. And the other one is the chronic stress that we carry. So the way we can learn to recognize stress is in the moment. Usually comes in four categories. Either psychological, where we go into this I'm not okay, there it goes again, and all that negative thinking. The second category is emotional, where we might get impatient and irritable. That's where I show up, and my girlfriend so lovingly reminds me of having a first reaction. And I don't feel offended by it. I want to know I'm having a first reaction because then I can change it. The third category is the physical. Some people, their tummies tighten up, their shoulders tighten up, their back tightens up. And the fourth category is behavioral. Some people will just start talking really quickly and just go on. Some people just shut down. Other people go for food. And I've learned to recognize these are just first reactions. They don't mean anything. Unfortunately, for most of us, we either don't recognize it, or when we recognize it, we start to judge ourselves for it and prolong the first reaction into a longer reaction. So the first one comes with awareness. Now, you had talked about the breath. Often we're told, oh, take a deep breath. Well, first of all, most people don't know how to do it correctly, so they stress themselves out trying to do it. And if you're in a situation with other people and you can't just stop and take a deep breath, that's very disruptive and people pay attention to you. So I came up with, it's called the stress management breath in the book, but I've since named it the Goldilocks breath, where it's not too deep, it's not too shallow. It's just right. It's a little bit deeper than our normal breath. And because I've noticed also that the mind needs to be engaged with something. So it's like counting, like going up a hill is one, going up the hill is two. And when you get your mind to focus on that, you can do this breath um, without bringing attention to yourself, and you still get your body and mind to relax in the moment.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's good that I'm a doer because like I've only gone halfway through a book and I've done a couple of things already.
Oh,
First
good.
of all,
That warms my heart to hear that.
yeah, I've done a couple of things already. First of all, I noticed my husband's first response. Is it first response or first reaction?
First reaction.
First reaction. All right. So I've noticed my husband's first reaction on things that when I say something to him, how he responds. And I'm thinking, okay, now I know that that's a stress response, right? Because I wasn't sure where it was coming from.
Right,
Married for a
right.
long time.
You
We've
just
been married for a long time, and he always goes there. And I'm noticing it now. I also notice my responses and I try to categorize them. Is this, an emotional response? Is this a physical response? I'm also noticing mine. And when I'm breathing, so I've done three things already from your book. And when I'm breathing, because you said, don't go too deeply, and I'm aware of that, just deep, but not very deep, right? And then you visualize, you're going up a hill, and then you inhale, you're going up the hill, and when you exhale, you're going down the hill. So I've done all
exactly.
three of those things.
And what's been your response to that? What have you
uh,
noticed in doing them?
well, I mean, again, I noticed the fact that you're correct that the mind needs to concentrate on something, which is one, I meditate before I go to bed, and most of the meditations that I do is concentrating on a body part, right? Or concentrate on the heart, concentrate, on the feet and all that. So when I've tried this breath when I'm walking, because I do a lot of walking, and when I'm walking, then because your mind is wandering all over, and I try to focus my mind because I want to do a walking, breathing meditation, and
Great,
I've done that. So I
good
am,
for you.
I'm focusing on that, right? So
I want to come back to the first reactions a little bit because
yeah.
this is so important for people to, as they're beginning to learn to manage stress.
Mhm.
Is that if we notice our first reactions and simply mentally label, "Oh, I'm having a first reaction," it doesn't mean anything more than that. What will end up happening is we'll notice other people's first reaction, like you're noticing your husband's first reaction,
Yeah.
and not make a big story out of it. Oh, silently, he's just having a first reaction. No big deal. I don't need to make something big of it.
Right.
And it
Well,
and it,
well. I mean, again, you talk about behavior a minute ago, and you said that somebody might start speaking fast, or some people might not talk to you. I don't speak fast, but my response a lot of times is not talk to you, go silent, right? So, but my husband has always had, I don't even remember what it is now, but he's always had a response when I say he goes there right away. And now what I've done in my mind is that it's coming from a stress part. So my
exactly.
next thing, because I'm a coach, the next thing I'm gonna do is try to uncover where this stress came from. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's
Sure.
never anything that I'm gonna, make a
Yeah.
big deal out of. Yeah.
And it takes a lot of the judgment out of it.
Right, exactly.
I don't judge someone else having a first reaction. I
No.
judge myself less for having a first reaction. It's just a first reaction. It's not that big a deal. Let's just continue.
Actually, I just remember what it is. Whenever I say something to him, he always says, "Well, I'm not stupid."
And you can say,
Yeah, you
I
know what I mean? He always have to tell me that he's not stupid, that he's intelligent. And I've been listening to that for a long time, and I'm figuring out it's obviously a stress response because why do I never said you're stupid?
it's something that he picked up earlier.
Yeah.
And most of our stress responses are old chronic responses.
Yes.
They're not, they
Someone must
might
have
show,
told him that, and now he's got to continually, tell people I'm not stupid. Well, I know he's not stupid. He's got a master's degree.
and he chose you to live with. So he's definitely not stupid.
Yeah. So that's amazing. All right. So what you're saying to answer that question, bring it full circle, is that you've got stress if you are having any one of these things, right? How
Yeah,
you're responding because it's a stress response, right? Okay. Or a first
it's
response is like a stress response.
exactly.
So then I guess that goes into my next question, or I think we skipped it. But the stress management breath. So when you recognize that you've got a stress response, what do you do next?
You take a few of the stress management breath or the
Okay.
Goldilocks breath, as I
Okay.
prefer calling it.
Okay.
And what it will do, it will first it'll put you more in control. Okay, now I'm paying attention to my breath. And as you pay attention to your breath, your physiologically, your body will slow down and your mind will slow down. And you'll be back like, okay. Remember when we were kids, they had these excuse me, um, these clouds with sand in the bottom, and you'd push the cloud down and it would pop back up. You remember that kind of thing?
Right.
So it's what I call resilience. Sometimes when we get pushed down, excuse me, let me drink a little bit of water. We push down, we try to fight our way back, as opposed to just being resilient and pop back up. And that's what the stress management breath, the Goldilocks breath, allows us to do. We don't struggle with our reaction. We just pop back up without even
I love it.
without much effort, even.
Yes, I love it because it's awareness. And I'm
Exactly.
aware that anything that you're aware of, it's funny how I said that. I'm aware that anything you're aware, in order for you to change anything, you've got to be aware of it. So once you're aware of it, then that's good. So yeah, when I have a conversation with my husband, I will point out to him that that's his first response, and he should try to figure out where it came from.
It's actually later in the book, I
Mm,
address that how to understand where our first reactions come from.
mm.
It's late.
Okay.
It's a little bit further in the book. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not there yet, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
wait to finish the book before I bring it up.
I'm going to make a little unsolicited suggestion.
Mhm.
Rather than tell him, let him read that chapter so that when you tell him it's a first reaction, he'll know where you're coming from.
Well, that's a good idea.
He won't have a first reaction to your guidance.
I like that. You're a psychologist too, right?
I'm a human being who studied the mind body connection.
Right. Yeah. It's because men always have first responses. I don't know about women, but men do.
No, 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 no. Wait. Human beings, men
Human
and
beings.
women,
Right.
have
Right.
first
First
reactions.
reactions.
There's
Right.
no escape from it. It's built into our physiology. There's no escape from it. Computers don't have first reactions,
Reactions. Right.
but we're,
Right.
we're humans, so we have first reactions. But
Okay.
if we can learn to recognize them, as you said, become aware of them,
Mhm.
they lose some of their hold and they don't linger.
Yes. I love it. I love it. Right. Right. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to ask you is very confusing to me because you say stress isn't just about what we eat, but how we eat. So, are we eating stress? I'm not getting that.
Okay, it's good. It's a good clarifying question. So this moves into the most of the time people talk about the mind body effect. As a doctor, I like to talk about the body mind effect. So if we're overeating or we're eating too fast, our tummies get upset. So we're creating some discomfort. And what does discomfort do? It creates stress in the mind.
Okay.
So by God gave us these teeth not just for pretty smiles like yours, but they also digestion starts here. The better we chew, the easier it is to digest. And the more we chew, the less likely we are to overeat. And that's a prevention of stress. So you don't end up with tummy discomfort or tummy problems, and therefore you don't end up with mental stress. So it's a prevention approach. Does that make more sense to you what I'm saying now?
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. So I understand that. I was thinking that you're going to go with certain foods that we eat, but I understand what you're saying,
No,
right?
but foods make a difference also. You
Mhm.
know, there's no escape from sugar. I don't care who you are on the planet. There's no escape from it. There's different types of sugar, this or that. So we're all going to end up having some sugar, but if we can minimize it, we will have fewer other side effects of eating sugar.
Mhm. Okay. I get you. Right. Yeah. So obviously, yeah, bad foods is going to contribute. Right.
Yeah,
I like that.
and people have
Yeah.
different responses. Some people are reactive to certain foods, other people aren't. So it's hard to make a broad category because when I see a patient in consultation, I need to know what foods do they desire and what foods do they react to,
Mm,
so we can create a diet plan for them that works better for them
yeah.
rather
Okay.
than just some theoretical thing in a textbook.
I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. So let's talk about boundaries and saying no. How stress
Uh,
is tied to people pleasing. You like that
one
one?
of my favorite topics, setting boundaries. People, we all struggle with it for lots of reasons, you know. We're taught to be nice people. We're taught they're supposed to say yes. We feel guilty if we don't say yes, all of these things. And I learned many years ago, and I described this story in the book about how I was learning how to say no. Excuse me, is that I wanted to turn an external no into an internal yes. So if I could set a boundary, and of course you have to use discretion about this. It's not a rigid wall. But I found out that there were times when I was involved at a holistic health center, people would see me and they figured they could just ask me anything, anytime. And I'm on a personal break. So I came up with the phrase, sorry, I'm not available.
Mhm.
And people respected that. And inside I'm screaming, yes, yes, yes to me. Because what I'm doing is I'm not, it is allergy season here in New York.
Okay. Hmm.
Um, so it was a way to respect myself, not just feel like I have to have no boundaries. Now, will there be some guilt with that? Initially, there will be, but that's okay. You have guilt. You have guilt if you say no, externally no, or you feel stressed if you say yes. So go for the guilt for a little while.
Well, I heard someone say something. I actually think it was Michelle Obama that said she was a people pleaser as well. And
Right.
she learned to say no by saying, let me get back with you, or let me think about it, or something like that. And I personally had a hard time saying no myself. I mean, people pitch me all the time to be in the show, and I have to learn to say no, right? Um, but I've just learned to say no.
But see, there's a little trick to that.
Yeah.
There's a trick to because the word no is we feel badly with the vibes of the word no.
Hmm.
And that's why I had to turn it into an internal yes to me.
Okay.
So I might be saying no to someone else and they might feel badly, but inside I recognize I'm honoring myself. I'm saying yes to
That's
myself.
true.
And
Yeah.
it turns into a positive experience rather than just the negativity of no.
I like that because if you're saying, like, for instance, when you're saying most of the time you're saying no is because someone is trying to take your time, and you saying yes to yourself because you value your time. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? When I say no to someone on the show, is because it doesn't align with where I'm trying to go with the show. So
Right.
it's a yes to me. It's a yes to the show. Yeah, I like that. Yes, it's a yes.
It changes
Yeah.
the whole vibration of it.
Hmm.
They might take it as a no, but you recognize it as a
It's
yes.
a yes to
And that
something
feels
else.
so much
Right.
better.
Hmm. Okay. Awesome. 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 All right. So if someone listening right now feels completely overwhelmed, what is the first step they should take in the next 24 hours to manage their stress?
Oh, that's such a difficult question because there's so many reasons where someone can feel overwhelmed.
Okay.
I would just say start with taking some Goldilocks breaths.
Okay. Okay.
See if you can just let your shoulders drop a little bit, let your tummy relax a little bit, um, let your mind quiet a little bit. It's as we talked earlier in the show, it's the practice. It's
Mm.
not instantaneous. In our society, we want everything immediately. That doesn't happen. It's a practice. You practice it. And as you notice the benefits, you want to practice it more. And as you practice it more, you want it. Oh, wow, I'm feeling so much better. That doesn't bother me the way it used to. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Now, the other thing is an important point that sometimes we have to make decisions. I don't talk about this in the book, but I talk to people about it all the time. Sometimes we're forced to make a decision. Life presents us with an A or a B, and both of them are going to be hard. There's like no easy. Oh, that's a relief. It's either bad or bad. And what I'll say is, if you can accept that whatever decision you make is going to be stressful, but it's going to lead you out of the bad, that's better than making another decision which is stressful and continues the bad. But sometimes
Mm.
there's no immediate escape from the bad.
Okay. That's deep. Yes, I hear you. Yes. Yeah, you got to make a decision and both are bad. It's like leaving a marriage, right?
Well, that's a pretty dramatic one, but yeah. But that was leading up to it. There's a while. It's a history
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
sometimes we have to make life. Sometimes puts us in a position where we have to make difficult decisions,
Mm-hmm.
and which one can you most easily live with, knowing you're going to feel stressed either way,
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. Hmm.
and then you feel
Awesome.
empowered. Then you feel empowered. I
Then you
made
feel
the best
empowered.
of the two bad choices. I made the best decision of
Yes.
those two bad choices. And
Yes.
it's easier to live with yourself then.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. That's very true. So that might help someone right now. I tell
If
you,
you're
that's
listening, try.
listening.
If you're listening, try that out, and then
Yeah.
get back to Myrna and let her know how it worked for you.
Yeah. Leave a comment somewhere. Yes. Amazing. All right. So tell us about your book, Manage Your Stress, Manage Your Life. What do you want readers to walk away with? And what kind of transformation can someone expect if they truly apply what you teach?
Uh, First
You
of all,
like that?
I should mention the book is available on Amazon, just so people
Mhm.
know. Um, Again, it's a process, it's a practice. If you feel like your stress is interfering with your health, your moods, your energy, your relationship, then the book is for you because it will help you lower the stress level that you're feeling and get more mental clarity about what you should do day to day in decision making. One of the things, let me mention this, um, is a chapter about waking, beginning and ending your day. I don't know if you got to that yet or not.
Mm.
So one of the things I've noticed many years ago is that I would go to bed at night thinking about what I had to do the next day and feeling stressed about it. And then wake up in the morning thinking about feeling stressed about what I have to do that day. And it occurred to me I'm already creating stress and it hasn't even happened.
You haven't even done anything.
So I've trained myself to begin my day. The first thought that I have when I wake up in the morning is, I wonder what cool and satisfying things are going to happen to me today.
Mm.
It's like an invitation.
Positive spin.
It,
Yes. Hmm.
Other stuff might happen, but I've opened up the possibility.
Hmm.
And I'm a very big believer in the feeling of gratitude.
Hmm.
So what I've noticed when you're feeling grateful about something, stress cannot exist. It can
Okay.
exist before, it can exist after, but when you're feeling grateful. So I've begun for many years now, I do a gratitude meditation before bed. And it's like the stress of the day begins to just drop out of my cells. Because when there's gratitude going on, stress can't exist.
Yeah. I'm in gratitude most of the time. I'm gratitude when I wake up in the morning. I'm in gratitude when I'm doing my walk and I'm talking to God. I'm in gratitude, right? Because yeah, someone told me on this show too that when you have gratitude, you infusing the energy of your cells. So, right. So I'm in gratitude a lot, right? So not only helps with stress, but it helps your biological body.
Exactly.
Right.
So
Yes.
here's one
It's
more
good.
thing for you to feel grateful for, to recognize your husband's comment as his first reaction. If you feel grateful, that's how you recognize it.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna add that to my gratitude journal.
And then you just
That
feel
Dr. Dushkin sent me his book, and now I'm more aware about something that I didn't know before. So yeah, I love learning, and I'm grateful for all the little tidbits that I learned from reading books and talking to experts like you on the show. So it's amazing. And one of the things that I'm a doer. So I just changed my whole diet by just listening to this long. I told you about the guy with the sleep, right?
Yeah.
I just changed my whole diet because he's got this diet that he talks about is he eats every day for longevity. And I immediately changed like the next day.
Wonderful. So I'm gonna make a substitute for the word diet. I never liked the word diet.
Okay.
It's like die it. I don't, I call so we have a live it,
Okay. All
live
right.
it.
Live it.
Diet is too
Okay.
negative for me. Diet, ugh.
I know. Right. 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 Yes.
I
All
like
right.
to play with words and energy of
Mhm.
words. That's
You're
one of the
right.
things I
Words
do.
have energy. Very, very true. I was just talking about how gratitude has energy. Yeah, your words have energy. Negative words have bad energy. And positive words have good energy. Amazing. All right. So, do you have a website? Do you are you in social media? You can leave that with us now.
Yeah, they can check my website. It's my medical website. It's www.drdushkin.com.
All right. And what's your handle on Instagram? Are you on Instagram?
I'm not I'm not a social media
Okay.
wizard.
Okay. All right. Well, if you are, send me the link and I'll add it to
And
the show
if
notes.
people have questions, they can also email me at my email address,
Okay.
which is drdushkin at gmail.com.
Well, that's easy. Okay.
I'm into easy. Life
Okay.
presents enough struggle. I don't need to add to it.
I know, right? You're into stress management, so that's easy.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, listen, Ron, I totally enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much for sending me a copy of your book. I'm learning, I'm only halfway. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna learn some more things before I finish it. So, but stress is really bad for you. So if you can manage stress, then you will be able to manage diseases because it all starts from stress, inflammation. So this is good work that you're doing, teaching
Thank you.
people how to relieve, stress and manage stress and master stress, which is basically the conversation.
And then
Uh,
master their lives more.
right,
Enjoy
right.
their lives more.
Right, right. Yes, yeah, master it. So don't let it control you. So that's amazing. All right. So I want you guys to remember as we close out that you can either manage stress or be managed by it. The choice is yours. If you were helped from this episode and this conversation, be sure to share it with someone that you know is having stress. Maybe someone in your relationship is always having a first response to something, and now you know that you're coming from a place of stress. So send this to them. Pick up a copy of Dr. Dushkin's book, and have them read it. And I like the idea of having my husband read that particular chapter instead of the whole book, because reading the whole book might be
You
stress.
never know. He might be inspired to read more.
Might be inspired to read more. So that's great. So yeah. So hey, if you guys were benefit from this conversation, please share the episode. Visit the show page, which is myhelps.us, and I will link out to the book as well as Ron's website. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of Transform Your Mind, Transform Your Stress, so that you can transform your life. So as we wrap up, thank you, Ron, for being on the show. Any
Pleasure,
last
Myrna.
words of encouragement?
Enjoy, smile more like Myrna does. It's hard to feel bad when you're smiling.
Very true. And laughing, right?
There's
Yes,
one
it makes
chapter
the
in the
word
book in which there's one chapter in the book that I address laughter and humor,
oh,
and
really.
I have 3 jokes in there that are
Mhm.
worth reading.
Okay. All right. Can't wait to get to it. All right. Thanks, Ron. Thank you guys for being for listening to the show today. Remember, Transformers, that you can transform your mind so you can transform your life. Until next time, namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Myrna.
You're welcome.